Sacramento, and somehow I scheduled this live stream on my using my phone, which you can switch. But I guess this way you guys get to see what my little setup here looks like. Doesn't really matter. Thanks for joining me. I'm only doing these live streams for you guys to watch live. Afterwards, they're not really accessible, but the whole. Oh, I see. Let's see. This is already not working out the way I wanted it. Let me see. All right. I can't get the live stream started correctly. Wow, it's been a while. You know, you guys I used to do this every day. Every day I would go live, and every day it would go smoothly. This is the second time out of the last three where I don't know what I'm doing. All right, well, so first of all, thanks for joining me. I see some people are telling me where they're watching me from. Los Angeles, Houston, Kansas City, Colorado Springs. No one in Sacramento or Vegas, two of my homes, but that's cool. I actually met a couple of people in Las Vegas who are subscribers, and it was really cool to meet people who actually watch me. Some people told me I should do like actual hangouts, like physical hangouts. I should think about it. Anyway, listen. Today I want to talk about, at least at first, and then we can do Q&A about the biggest challenges that we have as electric car owners. And I kind of asked that question online in the last couple of days, and it looks like things are getting much better. I mean, if you would have asked me 5 years ago, and definitely 10 years ago, there would be a long list. But now it is one or two things. Most people are talking, of course, about charging, right? The fact that they either can't charge at home because they live in an apartment complex, or if they're going on a long trip, they're concerned about is there enough superchargers, is there enough Electrify America stations. So I think those two are the biggest ones, and it's all comes down to charging. But let me know in the chat, what are your biggest challenges are as an electric car owner, and tell me which electric car you are driving. Or maybe two. More and more households are actually, once they're sold on one electric car, they buy a second one, which is awesome. Now it creates more problems because now you have to have two chargers or share a charger, but it's great to see pictures of people posting and saying, hey, we're two EV family. So that is pretty cool. All right. Anybody can watch me in HD, by the way, because I see it here. It says it's streaming in 720, but not in full HD. Not that you need to see all of my pimples on my face, but I'm just kind of wondering. Jeff is in Roseville, yeah, near Sacramento. I've lived here for 3 years, so I kind of learned all the cities around it. I mean, Roseville is definitely one of the bigger ones. Let's see, Jennifer Montgomery says people in Vegas might be too busy gambling to watch right now. Vegas is actually, it's not as open as you think. I was there last week, and it was a Sunday night, and it was 10 p.m. I was like, I'm kind of hungry, but I'm not going to worry about that because it's Vegas. You can order anything you want. You can have pretty much anything to your room or your house at any point of the night. And it took me about an hour, but mind you, Vegas area is not that big. Everything's within 15 minutes or so. But it took me an hour to find a place to eat by 11 p.m. at night, and it wasn't even that good. But that's a separate story. It's still not, and obviously now with masks and less places are open past 10 p.m., kind of reminds me more of Sacramento. That's one of the reasons I love Sacramento. Everyone's asleep by past 10 p.m. Last night I went on a walk at around midnight. Just me, cats, and occasional Uber drivers, and that's it. It was a nice, quiet walk. But from Vegas, I expect completely opposite, something completely very much opposite at that time of night. So, yeah, it's Thom Price watching from Columbus, Ohio. Welcome. Maybe says ChargePoint. Well, ChargePoint is not really a fast charging network yet. I don't know if they ever will be. By the way, anyone's visiting Las Vegas anytime soon? I'm kind of wondering if people are. What is the impression of Las Vegas right now of people who are thinking about visiting? Um, okay, I don't know that I can't always read your usernames. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but somebody says currently own a Prius Prime. Would love to go full EV. You should. Let me know what's on your mind. What are the electric cars you guys are looking forward to? Like not just for them to come out, but to actually buy for yourself in the next couple of years. I'd be interested to know. Jennifer says I drive Model 3 Performance. Very cool. What color? I think Model 3 and Model Y looks very, very different in different colors. Um, Fuel Cut says my biggest concern is fixing it. No shops around. That is true. It is definitely true with Tesla, but honestly, even like my ID4 actually crapped out after a few days. It was kind of embarrassing, and they didn't have a part for a while. I got lucky and I got the part actually within a few days, but nevertheless, I mean, they're obviously all these manufacturers trying to make as many of them as possible, the electric vehicles, and they're not making parts, right? And a lot of times their technicians are not ready. Like they have to have a specific technician, right, who knows how to work on this weird electric car. So, all right. IRI says biggest worry China slash CCP. I'm assuming Russia taking over Giga. Oh, okay. Essentially, China taking over Giga Shanghai. I have never even heard of that. Not that it's not possible. Believe me, in China anything's possible, but I've never heard of that. Let me ponder that. Green Gold says, love your channel, Alex. Thank you. I really do appreciate it, guys. But the concern about not having enough shops that fix electric cars, I mean, this is a business opportunity, I feel like, for a lot of people. And not just for shops that will be fixing Teslas. Obviously, there will be plenty. There are already plenty of, Volts and Bolts and Leafs. By the way, Leaf, I don't know if you saw my last video. Damn, you can get that car, 2022, new model for under $20,000 here in the US after the $7,500 tax credit, and even more if you have more. Like here in California, we have another $1,500 point of sale credit. So we're talking about 18 and a half for a pretty decent electric car. I'm very excited about that one. I was quite shocked to see that. But the Bolt also came down in price. That's just so you can save extra money for the fire insurance. All right, iPace, charge point reliability, and dealership lack of service. Says Jeremy March. I don't hear much from iPace owners. Even though they're being sold pretty well, they sell everything they make. I mean, everybody does, but I was thinking about getting an iPace last fall, and I thought I would get a deal. No deal. They were selling them so fast before I even started negotiating, all of them were gone. But I don't hear anything from iPace owners. Okay, that's interesting to know. Robert, that's a very long name. I'm sorry. I'll just call you Robert. Robert, will Tesla underbid by $1,500 gas contract on EVs in the infrastructure bill now going to the House because of Giga Texas? I don't know. This is one of those questions that only time will tell. But again, things are getting interesting, and definitely that infrastructure bill is a huge deal for us, for those people who have electric cars or planning to have one in the next couple of years. I mean, it's a big deal for everybody. They just don't know yet, right? Ron says, looking for an ID4 to lease in Phoenix, Arizona, can't justify a $700 a month payment. I don't know why you would be paying that much for an ID4. I mean, essentially, it depends on how many options you get, but it's a $40,000 vehicle minus $7,500 tax credit, which you essentially get almost instantly when you lease. So we're talking about $34,000. The lease should be like half of that. Depends on how much you put down, but put down $3-4 grand. That's what I did. Jude Brown says, I'm in the UK and it's bedtime, but I'll watch for a little while. Love your channel, well researched and humorous. I appreciate it. I actually have a researcher, a really cool guy, who's doing research right now on the topic you won't believe actually that it needs to be researched, but it is. Why is Tesla so popular? You know what? Maybe you guys can jump in and tell me, why do you think Tesla is so popular? And I will use some of your answers, I think, in my video. Green Gold says, love your positivity instead of all the hate you see on Tesla fanatic channels. True. You know, I actually, so a year, even as far back as, well, as only a year ago, and obviously 2 or 3 years ago, I felt like my responsibility was to be a little more negative towards some of the, well, towards definitely Tesla, just to offset all of the fanboyish, Tesla fanboyish channels, and to also kind of call out some manufacturers that I felt weren't really doing a very good job in electrifying. I mean, I still do give Honda and Toyota a hard time, but you know, hopefully that will stop. But this year, I kind of decided, you know, I think in January, I was like, I'm going to be, let's just concentrate on so many positive stories. So I think I've been going in that direction. But there are some things that you can't avoid, right? I mean, Tesla once in a while does things that, whoa, got to talk about it. You know, all the bolt fires and very little sort of responsibility I feel like, you know, Chevy's been taking. You got to talk about it. But yeah, I try to inject as much humor in it as possible because I think, you know, things are looking up. Things are looking up. Jeff says, in Vegas in 3 weeks, do they have their shields up at the table still? Ooh, good question. You know, when I was leaving, it was just the mask mandate. So I didn't see any shields, but I don't hang out at casinos as much because I don't gamble and I don't like smoke. But I'm back in about a week. Actually, exactly in a week. I'm flying back for a week. And so it will be next Tuesday. So I'll do the live stream and then I'm going to fly to Vegas. Let's see. Anyway, I appreciate all the kind words from you guys. Let's see. I also making sure that if there are any super chats, I put it on top of my list. Jennifer's Model 3 is black. I mean, I've pretty much only driven black cars. I love black cars. My ID4 is black. My Chevy Volt is black, with tinted windows, especially with tinted wheels. 2 out of 3 of my Teslas were white, but the one that was, I mean, black. The one that was white, I bought it for my girlfriend at that time. I thought it would be funny. If you've seen her, you know why it would be funny. All right, Top 10 Car says, why is the Toyota BZ4X on the thumbnail? Because I thought that would be a good, I mean, I had to pick some EV, and I didn't want to pick the recognizable EV. I wanted people to go like, whoa, I don't know much about this one. And I think most, like, you recognized it, but most people haven't. So I thought it was a beautiful shot. I photoshopped it into red, and I thought people would look at it as like, oh, let me look, what kind of EV is this? That's a prototype still. Oh yeah, let's hit 69 thumbs up, says IRI. How do you pronounce your username? IRRI. Yeah, if you guys haven't hit thumbs up or down, whatever, it looks like there are 2 people who are, well, 1 thumbs down I already got when I announced this live feed. So right away, they're like, no matter what Alex is gonna do, it's gonna suck. So there are 2 of those guys now, but yeah, hit the thumbs up if you guys are watching and enjoying it. And don't forget, the theme is still, what are your challenges as electric car owners? So for me, I have to say, it's still a bit of a range, I don't want to say range anxiety, but like, you know, I drove to Bay Area, you know, Oakland and then Fremont on Sunday, and, you know, I was trying to make it home without having to charge at all. And I was like, oh man, I'm cutting it really close. And I didn't want to think about it, how close I'm going to be cutting, you know, the whole trip. And I decided that I'm just going to stop by and charge really quick. You probably saw my post on my Instagram and what, a couple of other places of these, you know, they're pretty beautiful. I don't know if I captured it, but the green Electrify America stalls, I thought was kind of, in person it looked really cool. Greetings from Sydney, Australia. All right. I love when people all around the world are really into this. Top Secret says, I'm waiting for the BYD E1 Dolphin. Not anytime soon here in the U.S. Unfortunately. Somebody says they love Aptera. Brian did. I'm an investor too. That's you're in good hands, Sandy Monroe. And somebody replies, Aptera is not a realistic option for most people. I don't think it's not so much realistic because I mean I think most people who can afford an electric car can afford an Aptera. I think not practical. And maybe that's what you meant, not practical. Like I wouldn't buy it just because I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. You know, I don't like. I don't need an extra vehicle to go to Chipotle, which I go to every day, by the way, if you guys don't know. Brian says, I love the popularity of wraps. That way you can make any car distinctly your own. I actually cannot agree with you more. They are pricey. You're going to spend some, you know, especially when you're leasing. Like I'm leasing my ID4 and I mean, I don't know if I want to wrap it. I love it in black, but like that little sort of accent, the gray accent that goes parallel to the roof. It's still growing on me. I'm thinking like, should I wrap it in black or something like cool, like maybe hot pink to stand out? You know, I don't know. But I don't know. I'm hoping it. I will one day look at the car and go like, whoa, I get it now. But for now, I'll go like, all right, that's cool. Robert says, will General Services Administrator at 650 Capitol Mall, Sacramento? What? That I'm already lost. You're gonna have to explain what you're talking about. You guys, when you post something and I'm reading it out, make it easy for me and everybody else to understand what you're talking about, and try not to make it too long. Roger M says Cybertruck still delayed, probably production issues. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised how fast they were going to bring it to production, especially at the new factory. So essentially, like, build a new factory and start producing the car that hasn't been almost ever produced in mass production with that type of skeleton body. I mean, but as you know, Elon is always way too optimistic. Think about it, the Roadster, the second generation Roadster, and the semi-truck, if they even go to production next year, right? Because there's still questions if that's going to happen, especially with the Roadster. We're talking about 5 years from the unveiling to the actual production. I'm not really surprised with the Cybertruck, but you know, I don't even know if Cybertruck is going to be competing with all electric trucks, but it's definitely good to see, you know, Cybertruck maybe entering a market that already has a couple, you know, for once. I just like to change things around. Mikey C says, I think accident repair is a challenge. That is actually because of the parts, right? And with Tesla owners, I remember I got rear-ended a couple of times, and it took 2 months to repair, which I thought was actually quite a little, almost a ding, but that was frustrating. And it's more frustrating when you can't get an electric car as a loaner, or and definitely rent one while you're waiting for parts or waiting for your car to be fixed. I think that's adds to the frustration of the lack of parts. And you know, this is going to go beyond Tesla. He continues to say, seems like even a minor fender bender damage on a Tesla costs $20,000 to repair. Yep, I was just talking about that. My repairs were ridiculously expensive. Is that just a Tesla thing or an EV thing? I own a Model 3, by the way. It's mainly a Tesla thing because the rest of the manufacturers, first of all, they don't do aluminum body. Secondly, they have all of their distribution centers and repair centers are all figured out. So, and of course, they're independent ones, and they do third-party repairs, no problem. Tesla really is trying not to have independent repair shops out there. So it's definitely a more of a Tesla problem, but because of availability of parts for, like, let's say ID4 and Mustang Mach-E, that probably is going to be a bit of a problem in the next year. But after that, you know, I can't imagine them not getting that under control. I mean, there's one thing that we can count on legacy manufacturers is have their distribution and repair centers and service, you know, quite figured out, I think. Charles Wooten asked me, have you been in an R1T multiple times, in R1S, but none of the media that I know of ever got to drive one. There's only like I just covered the story that Rivian has finally allowed a few of the early reservation holders to come out and drive those trucks, which is kind of unusual. Usually it's the media that gets to drive a new model, a lot of times pre-production or even a prototype, but that's not the case. But I didn't, yeah, but I've been inside. It's very nice. Listen, for a pickup truck, it's probably one of the nicest ones, and they've done an amazing job. And I think people who will be getting them, hopefully next month, will be raving about them. As long as there are no major issues that come up, right? And I really, really hope, especially battery issues. God, I hope everything's perfectly fine with these guys. But I trust Rivian to actually figure that out before they go in production. I also think I trust like Lucid to do the same. Let's see. Roger M says black cars are the best. I agree, at least for me, right? I love it. I just think they're very nice and smooth. Fatmas, you still never told me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, right? But you're a premium member, so I appreciate that, of course. He says, I find that my biggest pet peeve with EVs is how many chargers that require a cell phone app are in place that have crappy or no cell phone receptions. Oh, that is very interesting. I've never experienced that, but yes, when you are out and about, and if you have maybe AT&T, you do need the connection to look for the charger, and if you don't have the connection, it is a problem. I gotta tell you, this is the first time I'm hearing it, but I'm sure it is a thing. Oh, there's a little bit of a cat fight here. A little message says, red cars, good sir, are the best. Oh yeah, well, so that's the thing about colors and cars and people and sushi. You will never get everybody to agree on one, right? All right, but I won't argue. Red cars are actually pretty good looking. I love Tesla red. I love the Mazda red. I don't even know if it's red. It's probably burgundy. And what's the other one that I really, really enjoyed? But there are a few really awesome, amazing red colors that come, factory that I've seen and I absolutely loved. Roger M says Toyota and Volkswagen, if they mass produce solid state batteries, maybe EV is the future. So Volkswagen, I would say, is the closest to the solid state batteries because of QuantumScape, and they just once again released another news that they were able to do a 10-layer little prototype, which is they only did 4 layers back in February, so it's a pretty big advancement, and Volkswagen Group is their biggest investment. And I would say Toyota seems like a pretty close second. Toyota doesn't tell us as much, right? They're just saying they're going to have it, but we don't know much. They don't even have a car to put it into, right? But it looks like they're getting there. It's becoming hopefully reality soon. But I would say Volkswagen Group right now is the leader there. Let's see. Fatma says, I've got a Volt. So do I. I love my Volt. It's an aggravating, stupid, but minor issue. But if I had it BEV, I'd be pissed. Wait, what issue you have? Oh, yeah, I see. By the way, I don't know a single Volt owner who doesn't love their Volt. Because originally, when I moved here to Sacramento, I knew I would visit Bay Area because that's where my family is, that's where my friends are, and obviously there are, Tesla and Lucid and a few other brands are there, a lot of events. And, I had 2 Teslas at that point, but I still ended up getting a Volt because I did not want to wait 45 minutes to charge, when I'm going back and forth. And I was like, it's just going to be a commuter car. I'm sorry I have to use a little bit of gas, but my time is more valuable. I know I got a lot of criticism for that, but that's fine. And I realized how much I love the car. So when it was time for me to sell my Teslas, because essentially when I went full time with YouTube, I started a new business, and I shouldn't be having 2 expensive cars when you're trying to get on your feet as a small business owner. I decided, well, what am I going to buy? And I was like, you know what? I love my Volt so much. I think I'm just going to keep driving it. And now it's my primary car in Las Vegas, where I think I've used gas for a total of 3 miles in the last 3 months. So it served me very well. And now I'm actually extending my lease because it's already been 3 years. And after that, honestly, I might, for the first time in my life, I might actually buy a car out of the lease to keep it. Usually if I buy the car out of the lease, it's so I can make some profit on that because the market value is higher than my agreed upon buyback residual value number. And then, you know, you sell it, you make maybe $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. But in this case, I might just keep it for myself. All right, I see his first super chat from Laura S. Laura, I really appreciate it. And you said nothing in. You just gave me $20. I appreciate it. You know how I'm gonna spend it? I'm gonna go to Chipotle after this. I'm also gonna get an extra guac since, you know. And later I'm having coffee with a friend of mine. Here in Sacramento I only have one friend, and it's a girl who actually dated a little bit and realized that, you know, we're better off friends. And so I'm gonna buy myself and her a cup of coffee. So thank you, I appreciate it. Let's see, back to the queue. Tall Dave says your audio is too low. Tall Dave, you're probably standing way too high up there to the speakers. You just have to do this. No, let me know if the audio is too low. I'm quite like, look, I just reached the camera. So I'm one literally extended arm length from my phone. Now, next time I will make sure that I'm using this microphone. I just put it in here because it looks really cool. And it's not working at all. It's not even on. All right. Let me get back to all of the other comments. And again, don't forget, if you're joining us, don't forget to let me know what your challenge is with your electric vehicle. I'm surprised how few of you guys are actually have a challenge or want to share it. Let's see. Okay, so I cannot be closer to the mic because unfortunately besides the screw up in the beginning of the live stream, I also did not realize that I scheduled the live stream using my phone, and when you do that, you have to use your phone to continue to do the actual live stream. I thought it would be a good opportunity for you guys to see my setup, but at the same time, that means I don't have a mic. But next time I will use this mic and I will stream from my actual camera here. Let's see, but you guys can hear me? I mean, all right, decent enough. Oh, and I've also asked the question because I'm working on the video with a very simple question of why is Tesla so damn popular? And I think we got one of the first answers. Ole Krister says Tesla is popular because he gives 3 reasons. One, they owned Somi. The hell is that? I forget what it stands for. Wow, brain fart. Okay. 2, the unfair EPA range rating system. Wait, how is that how is unfair EPA range rating system is bad? Is good for Tesla? Okay. And the 3, the supercharging network. I will agree with third one. Absolutely no. But the first 2 you're gonna have to explain if you don't mind. Roger M says EV for now needs too much rare metals, not sustainable yet. So for now, plug-in hybrids are the best choice. I don't know. I mean, if we're just talking from consumer perspective, what do you care if there's a shortage and where the metals come from? There's a Volkswagen ID4, a Mustang Mach-E, or Tesla sitting in a showroom that you can have right now. Again, I think obviously the charging network and charging is a bit of a challenge, but no, I think right now the electric cars can stand on their two. I always thought of plug-in hybrids as the not that there are too many that are good ones. Like I have a Jeep 4xe right now on my driveway. Honestly, the biggest piece of crap I've ever driven. Just like no control. I almost like the steering wheel is just not at all connected to the actual wheels. But you know, it's got like 17 miles on electric range. That's not even a I wouldn't even count them as electric cars, but something like a Volt or the RAV4, the latest RAV4, they're good plug-in hybrids. I would even count i3 with a range extender as a plug-in hybrid, which I think BMW should have gone for that right off the bat. I think it would have been a much better appeal. So, but yeah, I always consider them as a gateway drug to electric cars. You know, people who are still kind of scared to go fully electric. A plug-in hybrid really gets you to love the all-electric drivetrain, but also kind of understand that, okay, this is how it works. I can handle it. I can handle it. Brian says totally range anxiety, even with the Bolt. Wow. Brian, I'm gonna be interested in like how many miles. You know what? You guys, everybody, including Brian, obviously, let me know what is the average amount of miles that you drive during the week and during the weekend. So, for example, during the week, I don't drive more than 30 miles, 35 miles. If there's a soccer game, then maybe 45 miles total, right? So it's like one charge on my Volt is good enough. In Vegas, even less. But on the weekend, because I drive to Oakland, and because there's a better dating scene there for me, but it's an hour and a half, and then, you know, sometimes I would stop by someone's place, one of my friends, and I can put, you know, 170, 180 miles in one day on the weekend. So let me know. That would be interesting. So put it in the live chat. Let's see. Manuel says biggest challenge is that we don't have many options for affordable 300 plus range vehicles. They are coming. Mustang Mach-E is more affordable than obviously before, but they are coming. I don't think most people need 300 plus range. I honestly think 200 miles is it. I mean, realistic miles, but yeah, and you know, hopefully we'll find out as people are putting their, you know, mileage in here, and we're gonna have a little bit of a unofficial survey, but I don't think 300 miles, that's, yeah. IR Arise says, off to job interview, wish me luck. Good luck. What kind of a job are you looking for? If you don't mind sharing, but good luck with the interview. Oh man, I have so many people who I know who are interviewing, and what happened to our job interviewing process? I feel like whenever people come, thank God I don't have to do that, but when people go to the interviews, it's almost like people interviewing them are not really so much trying to find out what's so great about you as a potential employee, but try to figure out how much you suck at all the things and how you're not qualified. You know, like, that is just tough. Tough. I wish it would be the other way around, like when I was interviewing 10 years ago, when everybody wanted to find out your good qualities, and whenever you're missing something, they're like, that's okay. You seem like you were able to navigate your career for a while. You can learn that. Let's see. Tall Dave says, home charging is my biggest challenge. Tell me more about it, Dave. You know, is it like, do you have a home charger or you don't? And let's say if you don't, then tell me why. Do you live in an apartment complex? See, this is one of the things that I wish there was something that our government would help us out with. Mandating an option to have a electric car, dedicated charger in apartment complex. You know, obviously a tenant would have to share that with you know, to share the bill and the cost, but you know, the apartment complexes require all kinds of stuff, right? Well, you know, those little sprinkler thingies when the fire, you know, goes off, and they, you know, that they're required to do that. They're required to run the pipes and put it, you know. So there's quite a few of them. So what's wrong with requiring them to make sure that there is enough electricity that runs to the apartment complex? Obviously, the utility companies have to be required to provide that, but saying like, hey, listen, you got to run a 240 outlet into every single parking spot. Maybe not every single one right now, but let's say per request. So that would be, to me, that would be a huge deal and a huge step towards the adoption of electric cars. Because if you don't have anywhere to plug your EV, doesn't make sense, unfortunately, right? Green Gold says it's hilarious that Warren Redlich, by the way, I still don't know how to pronounce his last name, says you hate Tesla, but he's never even owned a single EV. Yeah, you know, he mentioned that in our debate, and I literally thought that I've heard it wrong. Maybe he meant he doesn't own like non-Tesla EV, but I can't imagine him not owning an actual Tesla. But and really, this is the thing that you found hilarious out of everything that we talked about. Um, don't get me started on that. But you know, I thought that would be actually kind of cool if I go and debate him every week or every month, make a series out of it. I had a good time. Um, Jeff says charger reliability is terrible. Now it took 5 tries on 3 chargers until one worked. Are you talking about the destination chargers or fast chargers? If so, which network? You know, I've been using Electrify America and I had nothing but good luck. I don't want to say that it's luck, but that's how it should work. Including one 2 days ago, I tried a new one in Vacaville here and it was pretty good. Out of like 10 that they had there, 2 were out of service, but they were clearly marked. It wasn't a surprise. And the rest were working just fine. So, all right. Butch Nelson says, I have a 2012 Ford E-Focus. All right. So many free charging. The 75 mile is perfect. That's, I believe, the range. For around town on daily basis, I do wish it could charge a bit faster, but for 2012 tech, it's hard to complain. Absolutely. You know, when my Volt lease expires in Las Vegas, now that I know that I don't really drive past, you know, 20, 30 miles a day, maybe 50 at most, I'm thinking about buying like an used all-electric car. I'm thinking about a Volkswagen e-Golf because, you know, you can buy them very cheap, like $10, $12,000 with low miles and still a realistic range of 70, 80 miles. And it's, you know, it's a good looking car and it's really nice inside. I've driven it. I would have no problems driving it. Now, but now that the, you know, Nissan Leaf, I think you can lease that thing in 2022 for like $99 if you put enough down. I would be tempted to get that one. I'm not a huge fan of what the Nissan Leaf looks like. You know, like I like e-Golf much better. I mean, it's obviously nothing compared to the original Leaf, which really I think is by far the fuggliest car I've ever seen. But fugglier than i3. I know what you're thinking. The i3 is a close second contender, but man, that Leaf was a tough cookie in terms of just liking it visually. But I know some people do. Some people love the way that it looks. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna have to decide. But yeah, if you get 2012 tech all electric car that works for you, man, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Anthony says we need a high power DC charging, 150 plus kilowatts every 40 to 50 miles apart instead of 75 to 90, and more CCS networks than just Electrify America. Yes, well, so EVgo is building more and more CCS chargers because they're now partnered with GM, so that's something that's going to be happening. And Electrify America just committed to like more than double or maybe even quadruple of the goal of how many chargers they want to build over the next 4 years, which is great news. And it depends on the area, right? Like here in Sacramento, in the Bay Area, it's not a problem like at all. Even in Vegas, there are a couple that, you know, more than enough. But I know in some areas that needs to change. But I agree, 40 to 50 miles, especially along the most commonly traveled roads, very reasonable. That's why this infrastructure bill is so important, right? And I hope they do it right, which is, you know, with our government, you never know. But that's definitely a huge step towards that. Ooh, top 10 cars is asking me a tough question. What's the best looking electric car in your opinion? So first and foremost, I'm definitely gonna go with a Tesla Model S. I'm not that crazy about the refresh, but like the one before that, right? If you have like, let's say 2020 model. I think that's a gorgeous car. And we're talking about the ones on the market or that's the ones that's coming up, right? I have not seen the EQS in person, but the prototype was amazing, the concept car. Oh man, So I love so for like it's different for sedan. I feel like it's easier for the sedan to look great, or for example, Pininfarina Battista or Rimac Nivera, right? They're good-looking cars, but they're like $2 million hypercars. I like those. Both look really really good. For the crossovers, I do love the ID4 and I love the Mustang Mach-E. Both are beautiful crossovers for my taste. Not a big fan of ID3. Definitely not a big fan of i3. Oh man, you've got me kind of. Well, obviously the e-tron GT is going to be an absolutely gorgeous car. What else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go with the Model S as one of the better looking cars that I've ever seen in general, not just EVs. Huh, you kind of stumped me with that question. I might have to come back to that one. Let's see, and you guys feel free to help me out. Why don't you put in the chat right now which EV you think is the best looking car for your taste? Good one, top 10 cars. Good one. Elon said, oh, I just skipped. I think I'm like really behind on the chat, guys. Okay, let me catch up. I'm gonna try to answer questions much faster. I see your tears, says Charles Wooten. Well, I didn't know I was crying about anything, but okay, let me know. That's reserved for my therapy. Let's see. Ford Green Gold says Ford Lightning looks really nice for the price, absolutely, but the range, that's my problem with it, right? Fatma says Aptera is fine for multi-car household. In my opinion, absolutely agree. They often have similar secondary car and bigger one. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. All right. Roger M says plug-in hybrids should be the major focus on governments until they invest in the grid and solid-state batteries that are more eco-friendly become more mass-produced. It's such a temporary technology and I don't think anything should be invested into anything temporary. So I'd rather have the government because government's going to be behind by many years. So by the time this infrastructure bill actually gets in motion, we will be already really enjoying the electric cars, I think, rather than plug-in hybrids. So for that, I'd say let them shoot for, this whole thing, you guys probably seen my video. I mean, 50% of electric cars that do include plug-in hybrids by 2030 is such a non-binding, is such a wuss of a goal, so no, let them shoot for all electric. The higher they shoot, the higher they'll jump, right? So Stuart says, I want an easy accessible van for wheelchair access, not available in Canada yet. Yeah, the vans are coming at the end, huh? Vans are, I haven't even heard too many car companies developing vans. Everyone's kind of going after the crossover and now the electric pickup market. Yes, you only get to drive the Rivian if you go up in Jeff's Rocket. That is probably true. Manuel says the only journalist that drove an R1T was M. Hall in the last Rebel Rally. So, okay, I guess there was one. None of the journalists that I know in an electric car industry, they're not even planning it for us, which is fine. Well, Mercedes CQV that's true. That is a van that's coming up. I have seen it in person, actually, their prototype during the Frankfurt Auto Show. Let's see. Jeff says, Alex, great job. I'm a new VIP because your content is by far the best. I appreciate it. Is there a second meaning to VIP? VIP? All right. But anyway, I really appreciate it. I'm trying to step it up this year. I'm trying to throw some comedy because what I've learned is that all the news, not all, most of the news that I watch are from comedians. And I was like, why don't I deliver, I can't be as good as them, but why don't I throw a few extra jokes in my reports, because honestly, when I talk to my friends and other journalists about it, I joke around about a lot of this stuff, and somehow I didn't before on the screen. I figured, why don't I? Let's do it. So, but joke writing process is like, I've been reading some books, well, reading some stuff online and watching some YouTube videos about how to write a joke. There's like a whole recipe there. Butch Nelson says, it is difficult waiting for the Model 2. This is the Tesla I'm going to buy due to the tax incentives. I think Tesla is finally reaching the populace with this model price and distance-wise. Well, I mean, like I mentioned, Nissan Leaf is now under $20,000, so there's your $25,000 car with $6,000 in the trunk, you know, and it's got a decent range, 151 miles CPA. I think that's pretty good. Fast. Are they still making it with CHAdeMO? I think they might be. That might be the only drawback, but no, I think they have level 2 as well, so I think it'll be fine. I'm considering it for sure. Chris says, I'm psyched to see an Alfa Romeo EV. I love Italian cars and I can't wait to see what's to come. Those guys, you know, they're part of Stellantis now. I just made fun of them because really, besides Fiat, there's almost no major brand that's part of that group that has an all-electric car, and that includes Alfa Romeo. I love the way Alfa Romeos look. The Juliet and whatever, I don't even know how to pronounce it, and the SUV version. Oh my God, by far one of the best. You know, speaking of, you know, top 10 cars, speaking of the best looking cars, if Alfa Romeo would make those two in electric version, that might just be the winners. Absolutely gorgeous cars. So yeah, Chris, I'm totally looking forward to that. Fatma says, it's not finding the charger that's the issue, but actually activating the charger. I was recently at the park garage that had a charger on the basement level 4. Looked like it had never been used. You know, sometimes I pull up to like a level 2 charger just if I want a quick charge. And, well, a lot of times they would just be paid, and I would not be part of that network, because there's so many different ones, and I go like, forget it, right? I mean, I have ChargePoint and I have Blink, but a lot of times, like, I don't want to pay so much money. I mean, ChargePoint charges a lot of money. I think when they say ChargePoint, the meaning of charge is, you know, the money one rather than electricity one. It's the most expensive one that I've seen, and they always have been. So I try not to charge at ChargePoint, but if I ever have to, like, I have a little card. Green Gold asks, Alex, have you heard of the new LMFP battery? Lithium Australia has added magnesium to you said LMFP, but then you said LFP. Batteries have increased the energy density by 20%. You know, there are a lot. I'm not keeping up with a lot of this battery technology. To me, I hate to say it, it's kind of boring unless it's actually is close to reality, where it actually is going into a car. Somebody just told me about this motors that apparently, what is it, a Yamaha, or I forget. Yeah, maybe it was Yamaha, but that makes. But they have no contract with any auto manufacturer, so like I don't geek out over just the battery cells or just the motors. I only geek out on it because when it's actually something that I can see for myself as a consumer. I always try to have this channel be on the side of the consumer, right? Rather than, oh, look how cool things could be. Now, with that said, the video that I'm putting out on Thursday is an interview with a Plasma Kinetics founder, and this is, you know, now this can make. I mean, if they succeed, the whole electric car industry can actually change. I think that this is one of the most important videos I've ever produced. But you know who found that technology? Sandy Munro. He's the one who brought it up, and then I ended up reaching out to Plasma Kinetics mainly for the B-roll. And then once the video went out, and I think it's got almost 250,000 views, they told me that just because of my video, they started getting so much feedback and possible funding that video may just revive their technology, and it's an amazing technology. So check it out this Thursday. It's going to be out as always. Well, I might change the time when I release the video, but usually it's in the morning. Let's see. Speaking of Volkswagen, says Jeff, the Buzz will be in my garage someday in the future. I gotta tell you, I am so looking forward to the Volkswagen Buzz. I don't know if they're going to make it into ID Buzz probably. But I've missed this whole hippie, I have a cool van and then I have a lot of money so I can, revamp it into a $50,000 cool van time. I miss that time. But I'd like to be part of it. So just like they revamped the Volkswagen Bug, which I didn't really care for. The fact that they're redoing this Buzz, I absolutely love it. Now I hope it looks more like the actual prototype, the concept, because the spy shots that we've seen looks like that van looks a little rapey, I have to say. Not very good looking at all and very boxy, but I hope they actually smooth things out. And if it looks anything like the actual prototype, oh my god, I'll take two. But expect it to be expensive, just so you know. Thumb Price says, I absolutely love my Volt, says Tom Price, and every Volt owner I've ever met and heard of. Absolutely. Let me scroll down. Oh, I promised to go faster. Okay, yeah, there's a super chat, so I'm going to scroll to Brandon Tyner. Thank you so much for $5 super chat, and then you do another $10 super chat. Holy crap, this is awesome. Thank you. But this time, Brendan says, homeless trucker, a great concept. Lots of people say it's a great idea for life for used batteries. I have a little money to pay. If I could get help seeing if the concept makes sense, please help. A great concept, lots of people say. I don't know anything about that, so if this is something that you think I should take a look at, direct message me on Twitter. I'm everywhere at E4Electric, so Brandon definitely will let me know and I'll check it out. I've never heard of it. But I might have been misunderstanding your post as well. But thank you for $15 in super chats. I appreciate it. Jeff Melodia, thank you. $4.99 super chat again without saying anything, but I appreciate it, guys. Just so you know, guys, this is all I do. This is my full-time job, and it does take me about at least 60 hours a week. And I have 2 editors and a researcher on top of that, and an assistant when I go out and shoot stuff. So, by the way, not complaining. 60 hours to me. See, people don't like working more than 40 hours. I love working more than 40 hours because essentially it's my hobby. That used to be my hobby, and now I'm just getting paid for it. But I love the fact that I have all this work to do. I mean, it is work, but you know what I mean. All right, guys, I have to catch up. So I'm gonna have to start skipping some of the posts, okay? Ed says, I put an order in for a Cybertruck when the FSD was still at $7,000. Listen, don't be surprised if Tesla doesn't honor that, by the way. Just keep your expectations kind of low there. I just letting you know. Roger says, Alex, I've been fired twice today. I was driving a black Tesla. Fired or fired at? Twice today I was driving a black Tesla, Hearst at the time. You're going to have to explain that. There's a story behind that for sure. Bushnessa says 300 miles. BYKF says 200 miles per week. No, guys, I was asking per day during the week. So like Monday through Friday, how many miles you drive per day, and then on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, how many miles you drive. That's what I meant. Sorry, I might have not been clear. Thumb Price says when I work from the office, I average 28 miles a day. Okay, that sounds very average. Jeff says 20 miles. Okay. It looks like 200-mile range for most of us is like more than enough, right? I don't plug in my ID4 every day. I plug in like maybe once during the week and then obviously on the weekend. Jeff says 200 miles is all I need on trips. I can't hold my pee that long anyway. You know what? That's funny. If you don't mind, I'm gonna steal that joke. Because that's right. That's how long 200 miles is how long people can hold their pee. That is excellent. That is excellent. All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up, but I'm also trying not to skip too many. Green Gold says audio sounds great. All right. Ed says Tesla is popular because of Elon Musk. Well, obviously, but what is it about Elon Musk that people love so much, right? There are a lot of other great leaders. I mean, RJ of Arabian is an awesome guy and charismatic and everything, but he's not a mega star or doesn't seem like he's going to be, uh, despite that. Yeah, there's a little bit of echo, but I'm trying to speak louder so you guys can hear me. Uh, oh, Roger says, I got fired today for laughing my buttocks off today. I was driving. Why were you laughing while driving a Hearst? Let's see. Dan says, I'm leasing a 2020 Nero EV for $98 per month. That is a steal. Can I ask how many miles is your allowance and how much you put down? That is an amazing deal. I'll take one. I'll take two. Brian says, I mean, the range is still number one challenge I see with EVs, but it's only when we take a trip, which isn't often for us. And I think that's a very typical scenario, right? Gilbert Good says, how do you think Tesla will use the ultra capacitors from Maxwell? Didn't they sell it back to them or something like that? Okay, I might be wrong, but I thought they sold part of Maxwell or just released it back into the wild, let them do their own thing. And I think that was the ultra capacitor thing. So the ultra capacitors, I'm surprised more people, don't use them. Or any really, because that's on paper it sounds like an amazing technology, right? A quick suck up of an energy and a quick release, especially for charging. But I'm sure there are many technical problems that prevented people from doing it, or cost. But so I don't know what Tesla's going to do with that, because I don't think they're going to have it, or they haven't used it for all this time, or announced it. So that's why I think it's not going to be happening, at least for now. BYKF says that Warren guy was a very rude host. Props to you, Alex. I appreciate it. I don't know if he was a rude host. I actually didn't think he was rude when we did the actual debate. I think he was, yeah. I mean, I think his original video was at the very least rude, but I don't mind rude. I think what I mind more is the lack of knowledge and the lack of critical thinking, right? I get people, I get that people love their Teslas, and I think that's great. That's how I got my job here, right? People loving Teslas like me in the beginning, and then other electric cars. But I feel like you either kind of should just live in a bubble of whatever echo chamber that you already are, and just acknowledge and saying, listen, I'm happy here. I don't want to know what's outside of this bubble. Or if they do want to peek out of the bubble, like the Tesla bubble, and especially if you want to criticize others, you should get to know what it is that you're criticizing, right? And I pointed out to him that anybody can be a what do you call it, keyboard warrior, right? You sit at home, you watch a few YouTube videos, you read a few articles, and all of a sudden you think you're an expert. Well, you're not. And then the reason that I've taken several years to become one is because I needed to go and start traveling and seeing factories and prototypes and talking to people who are working on those electric cars, from engineers all the way to CEOs, and experts like Sandy Monroe. And I mean in person, and I mean travel there and look at those factories, look and drive those prototypes. It's a whole different level from just learning stuff from watching YouTube, So yeah, I wish, but like I said, I don't mind it. Like if I like debates as long as they're civil. I wish there was. I tried doing it with Nikki of Transport Involved. We did one. It was a four-way debate. I would love to debate her every week, just because I think we're on the same page on most of the things, so we can debate about little minor things. And I think she is very, very knowledgeable, and debating somebody with a lot of knowledge, not only I think it's going to be interesting, I feel like I will learn from her, and maybe even change my mind. But somehow me and Nikki never gelled as far as like working together and collaborating. I would have loved to, but I have a feeling that that train has sailed. Fatma says, even the Tesla fanboys generally agree that the Taycan is beautiful. I agree, but the problem with Taycan is their original concept was so gorgeous that I always think about that. It's like it's like dating a supermodel and then meeting just a very good looking girl. You're always thinking like, oh man. But I feel like that's how I feel. I know it's a horrible thought. Don't get me wrong. And a shallow one too. But I feel that's how I feel about the Taycan. I was like, but the concept. That's how I'm going to feel about the EQS too. Unfortunately. Brendan says, a homeless trucker, great concept. A lot of people say it's a great idea for new life. For used batteries, I have a little money to pay. Okay, that's okay. You just copied and pasted his super chat. Okay. Green Gold says, I don't think it's worth debating very often, Alex. He's just a Tesla stock fanatic while you're a really B channel. Well, I like debates. And I feel like if I get, debating him wasn't about debating him. Debating him was more about trying to show the part of the audience that was willing to learn and educate themselves that the facts, the things that Tesla bubble residents have are just not true. I think that's what it was. I knew I wasn't going to convince Warren of anything, right? But I felt like I could still at least trigger a sort of a critical thinking in some of the people who were watching. I think that was my goal, and I think I've accomplished it. Jeff says we need the bill to be more aggressive when it comes to electrifying our transportation, the environment, and rest of the world. Like China is not waiting for us. That's true. We are falling behind. That's for damn sure. We're falling behind. What makes a good car company name, in your opinion? Says Ethos TM. By the way, thanks for coming back. I see a lot of you guys coming back to these live streams. I was going to do it 4 times, just like for 30 days, and this is the 4th time, but I think I kind of like it. I think I kind of like hanging out with you guys. I think I'm going to do more of this. I appreciate it. And let me know if there's certain topics you want to talk about next time, because I just like hanging out with you guys. And, you know, I will continue picking topics, but, you know, I'm open. All right, what makes a good car company name in your opinion? I think it's the one that's easy to pronounce, easy to spell, and one word, no more than 10 characters. I mean, it's just kind of like with regular names, right? Yeah. Chris says, just for style, his favorite one is Taycan and Audi GT. I had someone says Tesla Roadster. Yes, Dean, you're right. Tesla Roadster, I forgot about that. Is a freaking gorgeous car. I've seen it in person several times in different colors, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Skoda Enyaq for, I don't even know if I pronounced it right, for crossover. Audi e-tron GT, Dan, I agree with you there. My favorite is the Kia EV6 as top 10 cars. Interesting. I thought it was a very weird design. Yeah. Boston Dan 77. Is that because it's your birth year? Because I'm also 77, and that's where I wear my jersey when I play hockey and soccer. So whenever I see 77, I'm like, $4.99 in Super Chats. It says, good job. I appreciate it. As always, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Ooh, we have a racist asshole in our... well, let's report him first. Hate speech. Okay, and hopefully he's going to be gone, but let me remove him from the channel. Okay. And then what else can I do? Alright, well, I did everything I could, so, alright. Sorry guys, I need a moderator for this, I guess, at some point. Okay, so Dean, yeah, confirms that Tesla sold their ultracapacitor division. Okay, that's what I thought. Nick says, I would love Tesla to start its own trucking company. They have chargers, they make their own semi-trucks. Yeah, they could undercut everybody and become that. Well, if you know what they should do first before they start a trucking company? Make a truck. I mean, it's really 5 years and we still don't have it. Come on, I think even biggest Tesla fans would admit that that's a while. see. Alex, you get, Roger says, Alex, you get fired for laughing your flex competitors of driving a Hearst. I'm not sure if I'm getting what you're saying, but okay. You guys are making it hard. This is not the first thing I read and I'm like, am I stupid? I don't get it. All right, well, maybe clarify it, please. Dean says, I totally agree that the Mission E-Taycan concept was gorgeous and it taints my impression of the Taycan styling, plus the fact that they call it a turbo gets to me. Yeah, that was dumb. That was just dumb. I forgot about it, how dumb it was. It was so dumb, I just kind of, yeah. I should remember that next time I'm talking about Porsche Taycan. Let's see. I think we need more American hydrogen companies. Yeah, but we also need hydrogen cars. So we're kind of missing both. So that's what makes that technology dead. Unless what I'm talking about plasma kinetics on Thursday, my video, unless that technology actually takes off. Green Gold says, yes, Nikki would be a much better debate than Warren. I think both of them are fine. I would debate, I mean, I would debate anybody who's respectful in a debate, you know? I think it's fun. All right, it says, welcome to E for exclusive members. Hannes, it just became one during the live stream. Wow. And you get that little thing. I didn't know that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I do exclusive content for you guys. Maybe not as much as I should have. In the future, when there's enough premium members, I will just do some of these for premium members only, or I will do these streams and only premium members will be able to chat, to communicate. You know, maybe something like that. Let's see. Mark says, how can I become an E4 exclusive? That's sick. Yes, that is sick. And you can do it by clicking the join button. There's a subscribe button, but there's also a join button. I believe you can do it on any video. Yeah, there's a join button, and also on the homepage of the channel. And YouTube does take about 30% out of that, but the rest goes to the creators, and we appreciate it. And like I said, there's already tons of different exclusive content. Like for example, my full interview with Congressman Welch about his bill, the $7,500 tax credit revival bill. There's one with a couple of them with Sandy Monroe, and I made him the CEO of General Motors, and a few others, a few conversations with Tom and stuff like that. But I should put out more exclusive member content. I've kind of been slacking off there, unfortunately. America will be behind again. We already are behind when it comes to electric cars, unfortunately. Greg says, bingo, an hour of shitty audio. Are you referring to the stream? I don't know, man. Everybody else says the audio is fine. Let's see. Hannes, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, the new premium member. Kia and Hyundai have okay cars. Was very close to buying a new Kona, but for the same amount I got a Model 3 Tesla. After the incentives, the Kona EV is much cheaper than Model 3. It should be at closer to $30,000. That's kind of weird. But those, you know, Hyundai Kona EV and Kia Niro EV are excellent cars. Excellent cars. Let's see. Hannah says here in Iceland, in parentheses Europe, we have the Peugeot, Citroën, and Opel electric platform built on older ICE platforms. Well, that's the thing. You can't really see that. You can't really say that it's an electric platform if it's essentially an ICE conversion, right? The whole point of the electric powertrain and electric platform is that it was designed from scratch rather than using the existing architecture of an ICE car. So they need to step up. Let's see. The Champ says, Alex, what do you think of the Mini Cooper EV? I actually have a whole video about it. I thought, I was definitely not looking forward to reviewing it, and then when I started driving it, I was like, you know what? I can get behind this. It was really cool. I mean, it's kind of almost like a little toy car, right? It's got all the little circles and kind of all very cute in and out. But, you know, the range obviously is ridiculously low, 110, but this is something that I would buy for my Vegas, you know, when I'm in Vegas for a week or 10 days out of the month and don't drive that much. And 110 actually would do. As a matter of fact, I think that 110 APA is actually 110 realistic from what I've been told from people who drove it for a while. So, you know, it's just, of course, the price. The price needs to come down of the Mini Cooper EV, but it's a pretty decent car. I actually liked it. I was surprised by it. Nicolay says, hydrogen is not efficient, it's dangerous, and you cannot produce it in your own yard. Well, you don't really need to produce it in your own yard, but watch the video on Thursday about plasma kinetics. I think you will be pleasantly surprised how good that technology can be. Have you driven an Arkimoto? Asks, I can't pronounce it. No, I have not. I have not driven an Aptera either. Because I don't think they're allowing people to drive them yet, unless you're like an investor like Sandy Monroe, but I have not. I think I mentioned last time, I think Arkimoto is a company where they have someone on their board that has participated in online bullying on Twitter, so that's probably not the company I'm going to be following too closely. America isn't behind, we have Tesla. Well, that is true. But so does China. China has Tesla as well, as far as, you know, manufacturing. As a matter of fact, better quality. It doesn't do us any good that Tesla was founded here. What I'm talking about is overall electric cars, and an incentive to buy them and an infrastructure, right? Because it doesn't matter where Teslas are made if, and again, they're also made in China and very soon in Germany. It's about what do we do about the adoption of electric cars, and we are behind there. That's what I mean. Let's see. Yes, somebody says, oh, it just moved and I lost it. Great. It's all about what USA does in the next 5 to 10 years, says McFly. You know what? I think it's about what USA does in the next 2 or 3 years. Let's just get started at least. We saw a charging station exploding. Are you talking about a hydrogen one? I've never heard of that, but okay. The push for EVs was the best thing could happen to the Chinese manufacturers. That is true. And other manufacturers who do business there, like Tesla. Which legacy, Top 10 Cars asks, which legacy auto manufacturers do you think will go out of business? I think it's too early to tell. I think we certainly have candidates. But for example, you know, Toyota has been resisting the future, but I don't think they'll go belly up. I think they will, sooner or later, they will recognize that they need to make electric vehicles. They've already invested in plenty of research and development. And whenever they feel like, okay, we have to make electric cars, they will, and they will probably be very decent. So even though they're complete like EV deniers right now and haters, they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. But like smaller companies like Dodge, I mean, I know they're part of Stellantis now, but you know, that's another thing, right? It's much harder to go belly up when you're part of a huge group. But you know, Stellantis, you know, they already there was a merger of two groups, and the reason they feel like they're doing it is because they're not doing very well. But as far as going belly up, it's just too easy to convert now. There are tons of first, second, and third tier suppliers that can put together a car for you, or you can use Magnet, right? Like Fisker is doing, or iPace, the Jaguar, right? Like if you want to start producing electric cars, there's somebody who will help you out very quickly. There are battery cell suppliers all over the place. And these companies will always have enough money to make that pivot to the electric cars. They might lose market share, but I don't think they will actually go bankrupt. And of course, you can always buy is startup, right? You can buy Faraday Future. Well, you can't buy Lucid anymore, but I guess you can still. But you can always buy another electric vehicle startup and basically kind of catch up. So I think none of them are going to go belly up. Here's an interesting thing. Roger says, Alex, why don't they put a wind generators on the front of a battery electric car as well as solar panels, full regime? So first of all, don't forget, all of that adds weight and resist, like in case of the little propellers, I'm assuming, that will add wind resistance. So you have to decide, or you have to figure out, is the weight of those generators, whether solar or wind, gonna bring at least enough energy to pay for themselves in terms of the range, but really it needs to be positive. You have to be actually bringing in the extra miles, and then of course the cost that people are willing to pay for it. And plus, do you really want to have the little spinning things like on one of those nerd hats in your car? But I have a feeling it's just not gonna, the weight and the wind resistance is gonna add, is probably not gonna be worth it. I'm sure people thought about it, but I have never even heard of it as being as a viable product. Ice cars catch fire too, says selling solar. Yeah, a lot of them, the people die. In thousands and thousands of gas cars and trucks catch on fire all the time. Dan asks, how likely is it that GM and Tesla get their EV tax credits restored by the end of 2021? Oh, by the end of this year? I think very little. Maybe next year, but as you know, okay, so that's another thing, all right? What the Democrats are doing with their majorities? And I don't think they're doing much, and are they gonna lose their majorities at some point, at least one, where things will just stall? Now, I do have to say that originally the $7,500 tax credit was actually George W. Bush. He signed that into law. So it does seem that Republicans might actually be willing to support something like that. But I don't know. I don't think by the end of this year. I think because it's no longer a part of the infrastructure bill. It's part of a separate thing. And I don't know. And I think even if they do implement it, it might just take another half a year to a year to actually take effect, right? But yeah, I just don't have that much faith in our government lately, especially when it comes to stuff like this. So maybe I'm a Debbie Downer, but hopefully I'm wrong, right? Uh-huh. Alex, what should I drive today to stop me laughing? I don't know what that means. Land Rover should buy Rivian. I agree. Absolutely agree, says Manuel. Roger M says Toyota was reluctant to go full EV because it goes against the philosophy of being a car manufacturer. Not very longevity type of car. They sell plenty of hybrids and battery production costs. Yeah, no, listen, I understand why none of them want to go electric. They were making money in old school ways, and now this whole new thing comes out and you have to invest and you have to hire people. Yeah, I get it, but they gotta. Jeff says, I am a premium member just because I support great content. The more people see your good stuff, the better. Better to make all of your content available. I appreciate it, Jeff, though. I don't think so all the premium members have a little icon next to them, except for, see, like, Hannes, that's not Hannes, right? Hannes got one, and there's another one. So if you're a premium member, you will have that little icon next to it, the little E icon. And the color depends on how long you've been a premium member. Dean says, Nikki got to drive that. Oh, that's right. She did get to drive it. If you visited Aptera in San Diego, you go, they have invited me to do that. Okay, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, but the thing is, when I fly out to do stuff and essentially end up promoting the brand, my travel expenses as a journalist have to be covered. That's just how industry standard is. And if brand is not willing to do it, then I have to justify whether or not the story is going to be worth the investment, right? So I have to buy airplane tickets, book the hotel, pay for Uber, bring my assistant, my cameraman with me, is the money I'm going to spend on it going to come back to me from that video? Can I make the video about the same brand using B-roll? So it becomes a business decision. So far, we haven't agreed on anything with Aptera for me to fly out there, even though honestly, it's a $200 thing probably, because I'm gonna fly in, just pick me up, do my thing, and I can fly back home in the evening. But again, it's up to the brands. That hasn't worked out with Aptera. No Polestar mentions it's a good looking car too. It's okay, Bob, I agree, it's a good looking car, but not the best, in my opinion again. But if you think so, then it is for you. The new Polestar concept looks sick. Yeah, well, concepts all look pretty good, right? I mean, we just talked about Mission E and the EQS, right? Vision. David says, Alex, when an EV battery starts on fire, I've heard they burn hotter. What do they use to put the fires out? So more and more fire departments definitely in America, I'm assuming in Europe as well, are actually getting trained on how to put out the fires that are caused by the batteries in electric cars or plug-in hybrids. I think there's a different foam that they use or different tactic how they do it. But I think it's still in the very early stages, so I don't think there's like a standardized way how they do it. But it's common. It's common. They're adjusting. I think here in California they have other things to worry about. Bigger fires to put out, literally, right? Let's see. I think it's wrong that Tesla was not invited to the White House because they're not union. What do you think? I just made a video about it, Butch, and I mean, Tom was right. Tom Maloney, when I asked him about it, is it a big deal? Would it have changed anything? No, but obviously the whole thing about electric cars wasn't all about electric cars. It was about the unions. And I don't want to get into whether you like unions or not. The problem is that, don't mask things. Like, this is why people don't like politicians, right? They tell you one thing and it's a completely different thing. You want to do a thing about the unions? Do the thing about the unions, man. I get it, right? I get it. You're a politician, you need votes. But don't tell me it's about electric cars and then actually it's about unions. And yeah, Elon should have been there. He's essentially the guy that they were trying to be in terms of putting out electric cars out there, and he should have been there. It looks bad. It looks bad on them that an American innovative company that did not need to be bailed out like some of them was not represented there. It's bad. All right, guys. I am going to. My voice is kind of going, but I need to eat. I don't even know if I have time because I have a meeting at 3. Oh my goodness, I probably won't have time. Well, I'm going to try to eat right now. I'm going to try to run up there and get a meal and come back. So, I'm going to continue doing this. It's been fun, yeah? 1 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays. Next time I'll do it from my studio here, but using my cameras. And this mic will be actually on. So, and after that, I will do one from Vegas because I'll be going to Vegas that same day. Yeah, so that's how we're going to do it. All right, well, listen, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate it, even though I couldn't figure out how to start the damn thing without the camera pointing into my drapes, into my head. That was embarrassing. And by the way, these streams, I don't publish them. If you're here live, it's awesome. I think if you're a subscriber with a notification bell icon, you'll still have a link. But other than that, I just want this to be our live hangout, and really watching it after, I feel like it's a moot point. So thank you for all of the super chats, by the way, guys. I really, really, really do appreciate it. There were a few. I appreciate the support. One of you became a premium member today. That's pretty cool. And yeah, next time we'll have a different topic. Thank you for participating in the questionnaires that have been thrown at you. It's time for Chipotle for me. I will see you here next Tuesday. Other than that, see you guys then. And of course, remember to stay charged.